And now this is end of part 1. Part 2, you won't need to worry about it because I just need to put it here and in the microwave with the cheese on top. Part 3 has the eggs. Now the eggs, I've got 3. You can do omelets with a bigger amount of eggs. I don't crack them the way people like to crack them because I have not much success, so I use the heavy end of a butter knife. And you'll see how it's done. I've got salt, pepper, olive oil, extra virgin, and preferably you'll need a wide pan, not a deep pan, because we'll have to manipulate the eggs. So let me get you guys in the position. There we go. And I'm going to try to give you a vantage point over what I'm going to be doing. Pardon the rattling, it's just me trying to move you guys. We will crack the eggs first. You gently tap it. You'll see cracks forming. And then I'm going to have to separate them while seeing a mess being made. Remember, doing anything in the kitchen, you make a mess. Don't worry about cleanup, you do it later. But do it relatively soon after you finish everything so that you don't end up with something stickier. And yes, it does make for a tedious amount of work. I've tried doing the mastering of it, cracking it on the sides without shells going into my meal. And there's nothing worse than a satisfying crunch from an eggshell. It cuts my appetite in half. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me it's the worst feeling ever. Into recycling. Composting is a goal. That's everything said, you know. Okay. Now that's, oops, got some egg on my pepper. You want some pepper. That's to your taste. You can put it in your pan as you're doing it, but I like to incorporate everything. Some salt. .2% milk for me, only because it'll improve the texture of the omelet and give it a slight sweeter taste because it's lactose treated milk. If you're not lactose intolerant, don't worry about that bit. Put my oil in my pan. Let it breathe a bit while I'm actually doing this. I use a little bit more olive oil than most because I love the taste of it. I don't like drenching it. Usually you use half of that, usually a soup spoon of it. Possibly even less, all depending on how much. I remember Sam, our own angel, actually going through this, and I'm doing this for the benefit of Sam because I liked what he started with, but and you beat it until it seems relatively homogeneous. Okay, and this is also something similar that you can use for doing French toast, except you wouldn't put salt or pepper. And I want this active, so we turn on the heat, and now we move on to the next phase, cooking part of it. Waha! That's it. Once more, you'll need to actually heat your oil so that it becomes liquid. Okay, that's very important. If it's not liquid enough, it's not going to be hot enough. As you can see, it's slow. When it's colder, it's actually like molasses, more or less, not as thick. So we're going to wait until it heats, and we'll be back in a few seconds.